You're listening to Something Cheeky,
a collection of podcasts where two sisters discuss TV, books, and movies with just enough irreverence and far too many pop culture references. Welcome to Something Cheeky, where we're discussing the TV series Vikings. I'm Nikki.
I'm Rosanna.
While I've watched the entire series, Rosanna has only watched up to what we're covering today, Season 3, Episode 1, Mercenary. In this episode, the Saxons are reminded that the Northmen are not to be trifled with. Alright, Rosanna, we're back from our little hiatus, and we have a brand new season of Vikings, Season 3. What was your reaction to this episode?
I really liked this episode a lot.
What did you like about it?
I liked that a lot of things happened, but I didn't feel like any of it was sort of smashed together. It felt organic, the way the storytelling was. I thought it was just a well-made episode. I like that we got updates on everybody, but it didn't feel, forced.
Yeah.
I liked also that the characters that I care about were in the episode and had, substantial parts, and that King Horik was not in the episode at all. It was a good start to the season. It was much better than the season 2 premiere.
Yes. I'd say it was better than the pilot as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What was your favorite quote this time?
The quote I chose was towards the beginning of the episode when Ragnar and Bjorn are on the mountain talking. And Bjorn's all geared up. He wants to go fight. And Ragnar says, "Power is always dangerous. It attracts the worst and corrupts the best."
Yeah, I wrote that one down too. It's a good one.
It really is. And not even just specifically for Vikings. I mean, this is appropriate for a lot of situations, including just politics in general in America.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
What I really loved about it, it attracts the worst, we all know that, but corrupts the best. That's sad, because that's true.
Yeah.
So, I guess we've been doing this for hundreds of years, and that's just how it's going to be.
Probably thousands. Before we get into the action, let's do a quick recap of last season. Or at least figure out where everyone was last season at the end. As you said, Horik is dead. And nobody misses him, except probably Erlander, I guess, but we didn't see him this episode. Ragnar is king now, has, I think, 4 sons by Aslog, including the latest, Ivar the Boneless. Lagertha is an earl, or Earl Ingstad. Her son Bjorn is in love with Thorin, the former slave, now free woman, hopeful shield maiden. Floki is still loyal, looks like he was always loyal. And he and Helga have a daughter. Athelstan is back in Norway, and 50% Christian, 50% pagan, 100% still hated by Floki.
Also 100% adorable.
I love him so much.
I like him too.
King Ecbert and King Ayla are still allies, but they're hiring Vikings as mercenaries to get Mercia back for Princess Kwenthrith. Princess
Buttercup.
That's really hard to say without adding the W in princess. Alright, let's get into the action. Season 3 starts out in Kattegat, and it's a scene with Lagertha and the seer. I start to wonder how dangerous it is for the seer every time Kattegat gets, attacked or weird people show up. They seem to leave him alone. He seems pretty safe.
Yeah. I think it's probably because they want to have access to him.
It's true.
Because everybody that's come to Kattegat has gone to see him.
Yeah, all the important people go see him.
Yeah, so...
Did Horik ever see him?
Didn't he?
I'm not sure. Horik saw him. I don't think Horik did.
Maybe not.
Also, Horik's stupid, so...
Well, yeah.
Which is why he's dead.
If he did something, we should all learn and not do that. And if he doesn't do something, we should all learn from that also and do it. Because all his decisions were wrong.
So it's basically Jason Alexander and Seinfeld. At one point, he decided he was going to fix his life by doing the opposite of what he felt like he should do. I think it worked for a while.
I never actually watched Seinfeld.
You know, I'm probably going to make a lot of people angry right now, but I hate Seinfeld.
I also hate Seinfeld.
So much.
I've never seen an entire episode, but I've seen lots and lots of parts of episodes.
I've seen a few entire ones, but yeah, I've seen a ton of parts.
I hate Jason Alexander.
Yeah.
I cannot watch him.
I hate all of them.
He's awful. I don't understand how it got so popular. It was just uncomfortable to watch.
Everybody in it is just repugnant.
Yeah. It's not good.
So the seer, very sadly, tells Lagertha, well, he's not sad, but she is, that he doesn't see any children in her future, no matter how far he looks. What he does see are these prophecies. I see a harvest celebrated in blood. I see a trickster whose weapon cleaves you. And I see a city made of marble and a burning, broiling ocean. What do you think these mean? Because Lagertha has no idea.
I think the harvest has to do with a literal harvest.
Okay.
In the new land at Wessex.
Ah. What about the blood part? What do you think that's about?
I think maybe somebody will die at that time, or maybe it is a literal sacrifice.
Oh, okay.
Like, thank the gods that we're able to harvest what we planted. Let's kill 9 goats, or I'm not sure what the policy is for how many things you kill, but so I think it makes sense to me that he's actually referring to a literal harvest.
Okay. What about the trickster whose weapon cleaves you?
Trickster. Based on the end of the episode, I'm gonna go with, are you calling him Kalf?
Yeah.
Kalf. Even though
Kalf.
Even though it's kind of spelled like calf. Maybe it's referring to him sort of backstabbing. Hopefully cleaving her doesn't mean literally.
Oh.
You know, like cut off her arm or something. That would be pretty disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
The City of Marble really threw me.
What is it with you and cutting off arms?
Do I say
you
that
thought
a lot?
Ragnar was going to lose an arm at some point?
Did I really?
Yes.
I don't know. I guess because I feel like it's so much less worse than a leg.
Ah, okay.
So maybe I always go to the arm. I don't know.
Do you think somebody's going to lose an arm at some point?
I don't. I don't think that.
So the city made of marble and a burning, broiling ocean, which I put those together in my head, but maybe they're separate.
Well, the city made of marble, do they have marble? Do they use marble? Is this something that is there? I thought that was weird, that they would know what marble is.
That's a very good point. Maybe they have marble there in Norway, I'm not sure.
I don't know either. It was weird to me that he said something made of marble, because to me, that's like saying something made of diamonds. Like, what? It just seemed really out of place.
Where do you think this city actually is? Putting aside we're not sure if Vikings know what marble is or not.
I mean, at least one Viking knows what marble is.
That's true. Maybe that's why Lagertha didn't understand, because she doesn't know what that word means.
Maybe so. I guess I just keep thinking, like, ruins?
Ah.
You know, like the statues in Wessex that Ecbert has. Could they be made of marble?
Certainly possible.
So could there be... Because, okay, so we saw that Ecbert was totally just obsessed with Lagertha. I mean, he's completely smitten with her.
Like a 12-year-old boy, just awkward flirting. Yeah.
Okay, and like, I don't even really want to like Ecbert. I don't not want to like him, but I'm just like, I should be indifferent, but he's like so adorable in this scene. He just thinks so highly of her, and he just can't stop gushing about how great she is.
He's a good proxy for the audience in this, because that's how we all feel about Lagertha.
Yes, definitely. I really, really loved him in this scene. So maybe he's gonna take her to where the statues came from.
Ah.
That might be like a visit to the City of Marble.
Okay. And it's possible, too, that the places that seem like cities made of marble now that are ruins weren't ruins then, depending on where we're talking about.
That's true. I was thinking like Greece, but I don't think that they're going to go all the way to Greece.
They might.
I suppose they might. I don't know.
I mean, that's a long way away. But...
This show could go anywhere. I just don't know.
Yeah. The burning, broiling ocean, what about that?
Well, we know the oceans don't burn or broil. Did you say broil or boil?
Broil. But maybe he said boil. Maybe I heard it wrong in the show.
I don't remember which one he said either, but broil doesn't make sense. Boil makes sense.
It does make more sense. Yes, I agree.
It makes slightly more sense. It actually doesn't make sense because oceans can't boil either. They can't broil or boil.
Broil, toil and trouble. Oceans burn and cauldron bubble.
You never know if things with the seer are literal or figurative. So, I hope, that the harvest is literal and that the city of marble is literal, but that the cleaving is figurative and that the boiling, broiling ocean is figurative. So, I'm wondering, when he says ocean...
I see that an ocean hovers over you, and yet you yourself are the ocean.
You know what, though? That was weird, though, because that was kind of literal and figurative.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think with the ocean is maybe he means a figurative ocean. So, like, some sort of liquid. Like a... like a small area, like a lake.
Maybe she just gets tea.
Maybe it's a really hot bath. Maybe it's an overflowing...
That'd be a terrible way to die. Ooh.
Yes. Maybe it's like an overflowing of emotion. I have an ocean of emotion.
Is that what you're going with? Because that's terrible.
I feel like I'm writing a song right now in this conversation. The emotion of the ocean, and then the broiling and toiling and boiling.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could really go somewhere with that. Not a good place, but somewhere. So yeah, it wasn't great news from the seer, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the one thing he can't tell her is when she's going to die.
Which people shouldn't know that anyway, so.
I agree. So in the mountains above Kattegat, Bjorn and Ragnar are talking about how Bjorn Iron Man wants to fight and raid. And like your quote, Ragnar says it seems like he didn't really want power.
But I feel like that's debatable. I mean, he could say that all he wants.
That's true. Maybe he's somewhere in between those two extremes that he said.
Well, it's almost like he didn't want power, but he also didn't want to be powerless to these people that he thought were wrong.
Yeah.
So the only way to not have them rule him was to rule them.
Do you think that he makes a good ruler? I ask because I've been thinking about that a lot because of Game of Thrones and coming out this past week in Sansa saying how Jon Snow is a good ruler, and it's interesting to think about the different types of rulers and their relative goodness.
I can't think of anything that he's done that I thought was really bad, but I also can't really think of anything that he's done that wasn't for himself.
Okay.
I think he's a selfish ruler. I think it's just worked out okay so far.
At one point when they're in Wessex, he mentions, I think he's talking to Rollo, about how Rollo asks if this makes him happy, everyone going to fight for Mercia. And he says something like, why would you think any of this is to make me happy?
Yeah, I know he said that. And I also think that he didn't want to go fight. That he felt like he was in a position that he couldn't say no. I think it would be interesting to talk to the people of Kattegat and see if they think he's a good ruler. Because I kind of think they do think so. Because everybody seems to love him.
He doesn't have that natural leadership ability that Lagertha seems to have as far as the diplomacy.
Yeah, he doesn't at all. Sometimes he acts really immature. And most of the time he doesn't. When he needs to be serious, he's being serious. But every once in a while, he'll do something and you're just like, okay, but grow up a little bit. And also, who knows with this guy how much of that is for show.
True.
I think that it works in his favor to be underestimated.
Yeah, he's a lot sneakier than Lagertha as a leader. He's more strategic.
And he was using that, I think, in the beginning, being underestimated. He can't do it anymore because everybody knows who he is and what he's done. But I think for a while he was kind of using it.
Do you have anything to say about Bjorn not wanting Thorn to go with them and fight because he thinks she might be pregnant?
I don't blame him. I really don't. I think that he's kidding himself if he thinks that he has any control over whether she goes or not. She's shown that, but I can totally understand where he's coming from. And it seems very ominous that they keep talking about it, really.
Pregnancies are so dangerous back then anyhow. Whether or not you're also a shield maiden.
Yeah, having a baby is pretty dangerous, especially when you're fighting with swords.
Well, and it made it dangerous for Bjorn, too, because he got distracted during the battle.
Definitely, yeah.
And Ragnar saw that and was not happy about it.
And who knows what it was like when Ragnar and Lagertha were together and she was pregnant. We don't know if they were going on raids or if she stayed home. I'm going to guess she probably stayed home.
Probably, to handle the farm.
And so, to Ragnar, getting distracted during battle is inexcusable. That's how you get killed. I don't think she should have fought, especially now knowing that she actually is pregnant.
I wonder if she knew before they left or not.
I think even if she didn't know for sure, she probably had an inkling. Especially if Bjorn noticed.
He just kept bringing it up, and so I didn't know if he just expected to knock her up very quickly, or if he noticed something changing about her.
They established it was about a year between the end of the last season and the beginning of this one, right?
Seems like it.
But so, and I don't know if Bjorn and Thorin got married or if they're just together. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But I would think in a year's time, he would notice some signs like she missed a period or her stomach is rounding, especially when she's so thin to start with.
Yeah.
I think that he probably noticed and she probably was trying not to notice because she knew that it was going to be a thing.
Yeah. So let's talk about the scene with Aslog and Ragnar and the children, because I found that scene confusing.
It was weird.
Ragnar is playing with the 3 older boys, and they run inside and they're still playing, and it's all very cute. And then they stop very quickly when Aslog comes out with Ivar and he starts crying. Their reaction to this does not make sense to me. They act like they've just met him or they're afraid of him. And Aslog even looks bewildered at this. It was such a strange dynamic I didn't really understand.
I thought it was really weird too. I thought it was really unrealistic.
Yeah. It's not like they just met this kid.
I think, and I don't know this, I think the idea was to make us feel like Ragnar didn't want Ivar or Aslog, I guess, to feel bad that Ivar couldn't participate. He didn't want it to seem like we're having fun and you can't join.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about the ages of the other boys, that's unrealistic. They're not going to stop having fun and running around and playing just because their brother can't.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. If Ragnar was my dad, I'd be scared of him. If he said stop running, I'd stop. So, yeah, I thought it was weird. I felt really bad for Aslog because it seems like that's been difficult.
Well, she asks if he loves Ivar, and he immediately says, of course. And then we get her asking him if he loves her, and there's no answer. And then the scene cuts away.
I have a funny story about that. So, when I was watching this episode, my husband was in the same room. He was getting ready for work. And during this scene, Sir Ragnar says, of course, when she asks, do you love Ivar? And then she says, do you love me? And there was a pause. Jeff said, nope, he waited too long. He waited too long. And I said, Jeff, do you? And he goes, yes, I love you. He didn't even let me get the whole question out. He knows that's dangerous.
He's been married a long time.
He has been married a long time. He's like, nope, that guy waited too long. That's not good.
I felt even worse for Aslog later when they were on the dock when everyone was leaving, and she saw Ragnar and Lagertha, which I just really want to call Rag and Lag now.
Terrible. Please don't.
I was writing down notes and I was like, Lagertha!
Ragnar.
That's terrible. Lagertha's much better. But it was so sad because she was, obviously worried and jealous and crying, and of course they made her beautiful when she cried. I think she looked even more beautiful than she usually does.
Yeah.
It was very sad, even though I don't want to like her or feel bad for her because of her history.
Yeah, I have a hard time feeling sympathy because it's like, what did you expect, really? You stole him from her, kind of. And now you know what kind of man he is. So you can't be that surprised. Especially now that you know Lagertha and that she's amazing and they have this big history together. Yeah, I'm torn with her because I can understand why she feels bad.
I mean, no matter what the circumstances, it still sucks if it happens to you. Even if you should have known better.
And I feel bad for her too because she's left with the children all the time. So not only is she worried that Ragnar's hanging out with Lagertha and Lagertha's amazing, but also she just hopes that Ragnar doesn't die while he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a lot to worry about and no cell phones, so.
No Viking email. They really need to start using carrier ravens, Game of Thrones style.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they could train them to do that.
Yeah, they should do that.
Except they don't have a written language, so I guess that wouldn't really work.
How about pictures?
They used runes for some notes.
Oh.
According to the things that I've read, but not much. We get to Floki's house, and I realize when I was writing notes that he doesn't seem to have a last name, or if he does, we have not heard it. Because I want to say their house, he and Helga's family, but they don't have a family name for me to use.
Maybe they need a Brangelina also. Helki and Helga.
Flelga?
Helki. The Helki home.
The Helki home. That's adorable.
The home of the Helkis. I like it. Or I guess, wouldn't his last name be something to do with building boats?
Maybe.
Isn't that kind of how last names used to work?
Depends on the place.
I suppose that's true.
Their daughter looks about 2 to me, but I guess she's probably younger than that.
Yeah, she looked too old.
Floki says he feels trapped. He's so happy. It's just too much, and he really likes to whine about it. I'm going to say this. The men in this episode whined like there was no tomorrow. They just whined about everything. They whined about being too happy. They whined about the trustworthiness of women. They whined about being happy with women. It just wouldn't stop.
Now, how are you gonna whine about how happy you are? You're complaining because you're too happy.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody feeling sorry for you, man.
No.
Do you want to be miserable? Because you know if you were miserable, you'd be complaining about that too. I do not understand Floki in this scene at all. It's insane.
I don't know if it's just that he feels like the other shoe has to drop or something. He's worried that because he's so happy, everything's going to come crashing down. Some sort of karmic balance.
So he thinks complaining about it is going to make it not happen? What he should be doing, especially based on what we've already seen of him, is giving thanks to the gods for what they've given him instead of complaining about it. Because, you know, if there are gods and if they're watching him and he's complaining, they're going to say, well, I'm going to take that away now. You obviously don't appreciate it.
Yeah. I loved Helga in this scene.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
I like her a lot.
Not only is she so horribly good, as Floki put it,
Jeez.
but she's honest. I mean, she said, if you want to leave, then leave.
Yeah.
No, I'm not happy about it. I am angry at you, but this is life, and I'm going to deal with it.
And me fighting with you isn't going to change what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
She's a really good character. I like her character a lot.
Yeah, she is so good, but she's not one-dimensional. And she's a better woman than I, because I would not want to be dating Floki, because he acts like an 11-year-old boy.
Yeah. The maturity level of the men in this show varies widely.
Does, and in this episode, it seemed like everyone's maturity level just dropped so much. So we get to Hedeby. Lagertha is heading back there. I was just thinking they need a train or something, because the commuting she has to do back and forth, it seems like, over and over again.
Yeah, that seems like a real pain.
When she arrives, everyone gets up to greet her except Einar, and she chides him until he gets up. This is when we meet Kalf, Alf. Can I just call him Alf?
Just call him Calf. He's a baby cow.
He says he won't go to Wessex because he wants to stay there and look after Hedeby for Lagertha. At this point, did you suspect anything of him?
No. Which made me even madder at him later. I was like, how dare you double-cross Queen Lagertha?
Mm-hmm. We find out that Einar is still trying to take down Lagertha, get his family all together, which I don't put much stock in because, as we learned before, nobody respects him anyhow.
Right.
And then after Lagertha leaves, he gets arrested. At least that's what I'm considering it. That's what it looks like. So at that point, it seems like Kalf is on Lagertha's side. He's got her interests in mind. which is good until the end of the episode.
I was really hoping Lagertha was going to get like a little boy toy for a little while.
Yeah,
I'm disappointed. She deserves happiness too.
And it seems like all the men in her life are just deceivers.
Well, and I think that this is just one more person that's going to make it even harder for her to ever trust anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because, everybody wants something from her, or that's what it's going to feel like.
Yeah. I'm glad that of all the people, Bjorn has been loyal to her.
Oh, I love their scenes together.
Yeah.
I love when she hugs him and, he talks about her. I really, really love their relationship.
And it's strange because it's all physical, that what I'm thinking, but it makes it even better that he's so much bigger than her. Because whenever he hugs her, he leans down in such a protective way.
Yeah.
But she's still the one protective of him. I find those scenes very sweet.
I'm really glad that that's where they went with this relationship in the show.
Yeah, it could have been done in a very unpleasant way.
They could have just done the whole, Bjorn is the son of Ragnar and is going to act just like Ragnar. And I like that he's got such a strong sense of loyalty to his mother.
Yeah, he doesn't have Ragnar's impulsiveness either. He's got Lagertha's thoughtfulness, which I really like.
And I'm not saying he's not like Ragnar. He is like Ragnar.
Yeah.
But I like that when they took him away from Ragnar was a really important time in his growing up. And you can see that was guided by Lagertha.
Yeah.
Because if Lagertha and Ragnar had stayed together and raised Bjorn, I think he would have been a lot more like Ragnar because he wouldn't have had the time away from him. And he would have been influenced more by Ragnar than Lagertha. But I think it's good for him to have been influenced by Lagertha.
I agree.
It makes him a better person. A better person than Ragnar, so far.
The longer the series goes on, the more I like Bjorn. We're back in Kattegat. We have a little scene with Athelstan. He's quiet as Ragnar is looking at the scar on his hand from the crucifixion and talking about Apple's dilemma, which apparently is, should I stay or should I go now? Ragnar says that Athelstan will be his John the Baptist and he'll follow wherever Athelstan goes. I don't know if Ragnar realizes this makes him Jesus in this story.
I feel like he does realize that. Ragnar is not the most modest person that's ever been, so I just continue to love the bromance between these guys.
So much.
It's wonderful.
I've said it before and I will say it again. I ship Athelstan and Ragnar so hard.
They're just, what a wonderful relationship they have. It's just so great. I love it.
It is.
And I love that Ragnar isn't like too manly to express his feelings. I mean, he's like, I care about you. I value your opinion more than anybody else. I'm going to touch your hand with my hand. I mean, he's okay with
physically
it.
demonstrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. It's wonderful. I love it.
Me too. I feel like Travis Fimmel and George Blackton are that way in real life too, from interviews that I've seen. Rosanna, I think I sent you a GIF even today.
Yes.
Of Travis kissing George.
So adorable.
And it's adorable.
It really is.
And George's so giggly and it's very cute.
Yeah, I ship it too. They're the best.
Mm-hmm. I love them. I feel like Athelstan is the only one that could make Ragnar better.
Yeah.
At this point.
I think that's true.
He didn't listen to Lagertha. He's not going to listen to Aslug. Not going to listen to Bjorn or Rollo either. But Athelstan, he put stock in his opinion.
And I wonder why he respects his opinion over everybody else's.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he shouldn't. I think that's a good person to respect.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about somebody who wasn't raised the same way you were and isn't related to you and isn't somebody that you were married to, all these people that should be closest to him aren't. And I just wonder why that is. They are pretty different, I guess.
I think it also means a lot to Ragnar that Athelstan has chosen to be more like him.
Yeah.
Staying with the Vikings and...
I'm sure that's part of it too, yeah.
Also, Ragnar has apparently spent these last couple of years learning more about Christian history. The fact that he knows who John the Baptist is.
I found that interesting also.
Do you think he might be a secret Christian?
I think based on what he said, he and Applestand are both half and half. I think they decided that they're not going to choose.
Ah, okay.
That they're going to believe both. And was it the bishop later that said Oh no, it was Ecbert's son.
Aethelwulf.
It was Aethelwulf that said, how can they believe in many gods when there's only one god or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think they've just decided they're not going to be pinned into one religion. And they're okay with it.
I just imagine Floki's reaction if he heard this conversation.
Yeah, I wonder if they ever pray together anymore since Ragnar made him teach him the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah. The fan fiction writes itself.
Oh my god.
They go to the waterfall to pray.
Yeah.
And
they're so cute.
they are. I was trying to find a picture today of the two of them together, and there was so much. And a lot of it was drawings from fan fiction, and so I got some eyefuls of interesting
no, I don't.
things too, but yeah.
I'm not a big fan of fanfic, actually.
Yeah.
But I could imagine them, drawn as, little boys.
Aww.
Almost like a Calvin and Hobbes kind of drawing, and they, are playing together, they're sitting on a tree branch, swinging their feet, and Athelstan has, a tiny little robe, and,
Aww.
Ragnar has, the horn hat. I
love it.
They're just adorable.
Please, listeners, somebody draw that so I can put it on a shirt and wear it everywhere I go.
Aww. And then carved in the tree is RL plus AS. That's for Applestand.
No shield maidens allowed.
Oh, that's even better.
Everybody's at dinner and Rollo and Bjorn are talking. Torsten comes up and we learn, which seems like such a weird shoe-in side plot.
Why is this a thing?
Yeah, he's impregnated 2 women and they hate each other and he just wants to leave. And I usually really like Torsten. I did not like him in this episode at all.
I totally agree.
Everything was a joke. All the women were shrews. It was terrible. The women were the problem in this episode. I don't...
Yeah.
The men just kept going on and on about women and how problematic they were. But the men were the problem in this.
Yeah. I don't understand why they did this with Torsten's character after they, made me think that he was dead. And then I see that he's alive and I'm relieved that he's alive. And then he acts like that.
He's using his second chance at life to be an asshole.
And then when they showed the women, it's not like they both just came up to him and said, I missed a period, I think I'm pregnant. They were visibly pregnant.
Yes.
So it's weird timing. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
They're going to have those babies before he comes back from England.
Yeah, I think the problem is I don't understand what the goal of this little subplot was. What's the point? That, we hate women and they're only good for having babies? Is that where we're going with this?
I don't know.
Because I'm not a fan of that.
And it was so strange that the men were all trying to paint the women as the perpetrators in this situation.
It's y'all know how we got into this mess, right?
Yeah, he's the one that was sleeping with 2 women.
Yes. Yeah. Not a fan of that storyline at all.
Yeah, me neither. I don't remember, but I'm really hoping that it was just this episode that it was just so weird. Everybody kept going on about how women were terrible, and it was very strange.
Yeah, and I don't understand what Rollo's problem with Siggy is. Why is he so eager to get away from her?
Yeah, Bjorn's the only one that seems happy, but even he is whining about it.
He's whining like a 19-year-old kid would whine about a girlfriend or something. These other guys
should know better.
Yeah, I mean, you're 40. Just, come on.
Get over
Figure yourself.
It out. That makes me think of, what was the line Sharon Clueless about all the boys? Why she wouldn't date high school boys?
Oh, they just put on something dirty off of floor and are supposed to swoon. I don't think so.
That's exactly how I feel about the guys in this. They're the high school boys in Clueless. While they're talking about Torsten and his problematic women, Siggy and Thorin seem really interested in this conversation. I don't know if they can hear it.
It's another one of those times where they're trying to make it look like they can, but you don't know if they actually can.
And it seems like it's going somewhere, but it doesn't go anywhere. It's a weird inclusion.
It's just like a loose line that they're just Let's just leave it.
Yeah, sometimes I'd really like to hear the conversations in the writer's room about including things like this.
I would like to be with the editors. How they decide what they're leaving in.
Michael Hurst, what's my motivation for watching the men whine about us? I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, really, I have no motivation for that, so whatever your idea was, it's wrong.
So before we leave Norway, I'm just going to cover the last thing we see in Hedeby, which is Kalf taking Einar for his last swim. I'm not quite sure how he was planning on killing him, just like dumping him over the side of the boat. I
guess with the axe, maybe?
Yeah, that seems like it'd be hard not to tip your boat if you're going to have a little axe fight on a dinghy.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how it wasn't going to be Kalf going over. Kalf.
Yeah.
Kalf. This is going to be a thing.
We've got to figure out.
It's going to be a thing.
We need a nickname for him just so we know what the hell to call him.
I just feel like I'm just going to keep calling him Calf.
Can we call him Baby Cow?
Baby Cow. Yeah. I'm mad at him, so I don't think he deserves a grown-up name. Baby Cow it is.
So, Baby Cow makes a weird decision to hand over the axe.
As baby cows often do.
Einar is very transparent, so basically he has the manipulation skills of King Horik.
Yeah, he's almost as good as Horik.
So I don't even understand why Baby Cow took Einar out on the water, because he immediately tells him his treasonous plan. I mean, it's like 3 seconds into it when he just gives it all up, and why couldn't he do that when they were still on land?
I don't know. And also, if you didn't want anyone to hear, it's a terrible idea to go out across water on a boat, because they can hear you on the shore, dude. That's how water works.
Yes, they can.
Dumb little baby cow.
As a baby Viking cow, he should know better.
He should know better. Hey, Nikki, what do you call a cow that just had a baby?
I don't know.
Decaffeinated.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
Oh my god. How did you not know that joke?
My favorite ridiculous joke, however, what do you call a werewolf that's asleep?
I don't know.
An unaware wolf. Listeners, if you have some fantastic yet terrible short jokes, please send them.
Yeah, we'll just post them on all our social media. Just like a list of fan jokes would be so much fun.
Tweet them to us.
Please do.
But I don't think anyone can beat the unaware wolf. That is the best one-liner joke.
I mean, decaffeinated, though?
Let's go to Wessex. The Vikings visit Ecbert and Kwenthrith. We have the new Judith, who at some point has given birth to a baby. I'm assuming that's the baby that Aethelwulf is holding.
I don't think he's holding somebody else's random baby. Hey, is that your baby? Can I hold it?
Maybe he's the unaware wolf. Aethel werewolf. I feel like this is getting away from us.
I feel like we've been drinking, and I have not been drinking. But it feels like it.
Who needs alcohol when you've got us?
When you've got Aethel Werewolf.
Can we call him that?
Aethel Werewolf, yep. I love it.
So Applestand introduces King Ragnar, and Ecbert says that now they are truly equals.
I think people use that word, but they don't know what that word means.
You keep using that word.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
I think it means what he thinks it means, but he doesn't actually mean it.
Okay. Seriously now, folks. Let's move on.
It's like Ragnar at the feast. You guys, I'm trying to be serious. Stop making me laugh.
Oh, that's still one of the greatest scenes in this show.
Yep. We find out that the mercenaries that the Vikings were part of lost to Kwenthrith's family.
Are we to assume that they're all just dead then?
I am assuming that.
That's horrible.
Yeah. It's a good thing we didn't know any of them. I don't know if Kwenthrith got to breed with any of them before they died, but...
I don't think so, because she's not pregnant.
Yeah. That we know of. So, she wants Rags and Lags to join the fight. I'm sorry.
Stop trying to make Rags happen. It's not going to happen.
I think the one person that we never really gave a nickname to.
He's got kind of a good name.
She wants Ragnar and Lagertha to join the fight for Mercia. Ragnar is very obviously not happy that their original agreement has been changed, but he's going to go fight in good faith. And I wonder about Ecbert here. He's very clear that they're not going to get the land unless they go and fight. He blames it on the nobles, but we all know it's Ecbert.
Of course.
And it's one of those things, they're already there. They want the land.
Right.
Of course they're going to fight. They're not just going to say, okay, never mind, and go back home.
Right, yeah. I mean, he's got him in a place where they don't have another option, really.
Yeah. Everybody agrees to fight with him except Lagertha, who takes Ecbert's suggestion of staying in Wessex to help establish the settlement for the farmers. Applestan's going to stay and translate, which is good because everybody wants a middleman when you're flirting with a king. And that's when we find out that Ragnar says he trusts Applestand more than anybody else. And he wants him to stay. Apple does not seem upset at this. There's a weird thing. It's very obvious that both kings really want Athelstan around.
It's like a love triangle.
It is. I don't ship Apple and Ecbert. I don't.
No. And I don't know why Ragnar wanted Applestand to stay. Is it because he wants him to be with Lagertha? Because he doesn't want him to fight? Because he's worried about him? He wants to make sure communication is open between Ecbert and Lagertha? I don't know why he decided he wanted him to stay. Because when it was Horik before, he wanted Athelstan to go with him. Mm-hmm. But now he wants him to stay. So I don't know why.
I think it might be a couple of things. One, he probably wants Athelstan to be safe. Another thing, he wants him to be comfortable. I was thinking he wants him to be comfortable because he's still kind of in between Christianity and paganism. But then you'd think he doesn't want to give him too much time to get used to being Christian again.
I don't think Ragnar is that sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't think that Ragnar would have spent the time and effort that it took to train Applestand to be a Viking warrior and then say, I'm worried about your safety, so you should stay. That doesn't seem like Ragnar either.
I wonder if it's more about what he was saying about how he trusts him so much, and he doesn't trust Ecbert, very obvious, and so he wants someone to keep an eye on Ecbert.
But what about Lagertha? I guess maybe because she doesn't understand everything he's saying.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That sounds
Yeah.
more like something that Ragnar would be thinking.
We've come to a decision.
I believe we have.
Oh, I had written down that the thing with Applestand staying doesn't seem like a power play, but just that Ragnar and Ecbert both know what we all know, which is that Applestand is awesome.
Yeah.
And everybody wants him around.
Yeah. I mean, Applestand and Lagertha would be like power couple of the century.
I was thinking about that. I wonder if they ever considered each other as potential partners.
I'm gonna guess probably not, just because of Ragnar.
Yeah.
And how he would not think that was cool. But, I mean, they'd be good. They'd be good together.
Yeah, it'd be nice for her to have a partner that's trustworthy.
Yeah, it would be.
3 main guys in her life now that are not, and she only knows 2 of them so far are treacherous.
Well, she does have Bjorn, but that's not romantic.
Yeah, I mean, that's her son.
And having a partner, a romantic partner, that you can trust and confide in is huge when you're trying to deal with stressful situations.
Lagertha needs somebody better.
She really does. And she deserves somebody better, too.
Mm-hmm. Do you think she's going to get a good partner at any point? A worthy partner?
I'd like to say yes, but I think the chances are slim.
That makes me think about something that happens in season 4.
Wow, thanks a lot, Nikki, you jerk.
Uh-huh. They're all getting ready to leave, and Judith 2.0 comes up. She's really interested in Athelstan's crucifixion scars and kisses the stigmata that he's got.
It's really weird.
It is. Also another reason to make Aethelwulf hate Athelstan.
Yeah.
Like, give this guy a break. And Aethelwulf is also going to go fight in Mercia with the Viking mercenaries, which seems dangerous. He's trading some really unpleasant looks with the Vikings. First Athelstan, and then Floki, and then Bjorn. They've all just, ugh. And I mean, and during the battle, he has that tussle with Rollo before they realize who the other person is. Which made me think that in the battle they really should be wearing, like, something all the same color so they're recognizable, because friendly fire there seems very easy.
I thought about that too, and then I looked, and all the English soldiers have the same sort of uniform on, so I can only assume that that's the way they distinguish them.
Did the Mercia soldiers, Mercian? I'm not sure what to call them.
Yeah, they were the ones wearing
have
uniforms.
Something different?
Yeah, they were wearing like orange sort of tunic thing.
But the Wessex people weren't.
I don't think they were.
Okay. And we find out that Thorne is pregnant, and the young couple is very, very happy. Looks like Ragnar picks up on this too. He's just got an eagle eye for this sort of thing.
And also they weren't subtle.
No. Yeah, so I'll say this. When I told my husband I was pregnant, he didn't like rub my belly lovingly like they do in every single movie where someone announces they're pregnant.
That also did not happen at my house.
I just think that's weird.
I mean, you can be excited without having to like have an actual literal showing of affection.
Yeah.
Let me rub your belly. Like the baby's the size of my pinky nail. What are you rubbing? They do that in everything too, you're right.
They do.
It's such a trope.
Ragnar is not happy about them having to go fight, talking to Rollo, and Rollo looks so princely standing there with the way his hair is done, and he's got the big fur cloak.
He's got great hair.
He does.
He really does.
Yeah. He looks really regal. This reminded me of a couple episodes ago when Bjorn looked like a Disney prince.
Yes.
With the purple cloak when he was talking to Thorne.
Yeah, and now Rollo does. He looks like a Disney king. With his giant fur coat.
So, King Ecbert, at the last minute, joins Applestand and Lagertha on the trip, so he can stare at Lagertha the whole journey and make googly eyes at her. Mm-hmm. And make Athelstan translate his bad come-ons as they go ahead.
What did he say? He likes you.
Yeah. He talks for 10 minutes about her beauty and amazingness and gets one line as translation.
Yeah.
And he goes on and on about how she's different than any woman he's ever known. And I did like that Athelstan started to look proud when he was doing this. And it made me happy. And that's when I started thinking it'd be nice if they were together.
And usually I don't like the whole, you're not like any girl I've ever met line. However, in this instance, that is actually true.
Yeah.
So I was okay with it.
You're not like other girls.
You're not like English girls.
Yeah. Demure and, yeah, she's not demure. Love her.
Though, there's always an exception to that too, because what about Kwenthrith? She's English.
That's true.
I think she has a crush on Lagertha too. I think everybody has a crush on Lagertha.
I think Kwenthrith has a crush on everybody. I'm pretty sure there was no one there that she would not sleep with.
That could be.
Do you think she's done Aethelwulf yet? I mean, she's got to be doing everyone in that castle.
Isn't there a word for that? Somebody that likes everything?
I don't know.
Is it pansexual?
Oh, I thought you meant in general, like just liking everything, but yes, sexually, yes, pansexual. I'm like, there's none, I don't know what that word would be.
You know, people that like everything? Not picky?
I think pansexual is the word, yes.
She's just down to get down.
She is. I feel like she would die first in any horror film.
Because she'd be looking for her clothes.
So everybody reaches the land where the settlement's going to be, and there are already some farms set up. And I wondered, what happened to the people that used to live on those farms?
I think they kicked them out.
That's what I'm guessing, too. That sucks.
I feel pretty sure that that's what happened.
But Lagertha looks very happy. So the rest of the Vikings go on a voyage to Mercia up the river. I have one question. Why in the hell did the bishop go with them? What was that about?
I don't know. That's weird. Like, in case they needed prayers? Is that a thing?
Is she just going to give last rites to the soldiers that died? Couldn't they send any priest? Why the bishop?
I don't know, because the bishop is not a likable character.
No. God, not at all.
He's not charming. He's not charismatic. He's just bleh.
And he's mean.
And he's also, like, very snotty and holier than thou. Like,
I feel like we haven't seen any evidence of this, but I feel like he would be a total hypocrite. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he had some love child somewhere.
the name of the character from Game of Thrones that, like, acts like he's all old and crippled and stuff, but then he always has the prostitutes in his room.
Sadly, I think I need more information to pin down exactly who that is.
He's like a maester or something, and he was on the group, the council, King's Council.
Yeah. Archmaester?
Something like that.
Old pervert man?
That sounds right, yeah. That's about where I think the bishop's at. Like, he acts one way in public, but he's just like a total sinner in private.
And it makes me sad, because I've been reading Dresden Files series again, and there's this wonderful priest in them, Father Forthill, and he's just like the perfect picture of a Catholic priest, where he's very compassionate, he's very smart, and so he is always coming up with good ways to protect people, and he has a lot more going on that people don't know about, kind of behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. But he's what a man of God is supposed to be, according to the New Testament, not the Old Testament.
Yeah, because those people were crazy.
Yeah. So while they're on the boat, Ragnar is staring at Kwenthrith, and it's the first time I've seen her look unsettled by anything or anyone.
She did look uncomfortable most of this scene.
She says that her uncle has usurped her crown and poisoned her younger brother's mind against her. When I first saw this and she said younger brother, I imagined a much younger brother, like her dead brother. Not a younger brother, like somebody that's a year younger than her.
Yeah, me too. I expected much younger. I expected like a teenager.
Yeah.
Not a guy that's like 30.
Yeah, and just doesn't look intelligent. I don't know if it's something about his face or the expressions he makes, but he looks dumb.
He looks like he was easy to persuade into this fight.
Mm-hmm. So they make camp, and this is when Kwenthrith is dancing, and the men are all sitting to the side, complaining about women and how they aren't trustworthy, when basically all of them have been the untrustworthy ones in their relationship. I wish they had cut this scene. This one and the one at dinner when they were in Kattegat, I don't think it added anything to the story.
And it made me dislike Torsten some more.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He seemed drunk this whole episode, and even at one point, he was drinking out of what looked like a small bucket. That seems excessive.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Are we watching like a downward spiral or something with him? What's happening? Is this like a self-sabotage? I don't understand it. I would like him to just continue to be the funny, interesting character that was loyal in the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like they tried to make him funny, but it did not work.
Yeah, this episode it didn't.
I think it would have been funny to a teenage boy and nobody else. I mean, the humor in this episode was very juvenile, which is unfortunate. Well, then Aethelwulf is over watching all this, having a crisis of faith himself, trying to figure out who's right about the gods or God. And we hear that Kwenthrith's uncle, his forces are waiting upriver. And they get on the boat, and then she tells Ragnar that if they win, she's going to give him something more than land or riches. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And he's just rolling his eyes.
He's like, I think I know what you're talking about, and I'd rather have the money.
Also, I'm sure he's heard about all of her interactions by this point. He must have.
Yeah.
Though I feel like he hasn't stopped rolling his eyes since they got there and found out they had to fight in the first place. Everything is just below him at that point.
He's really good at rolling his eyes. That's a signature Ragnar move.
So they're going up the river and they start getting shot at with arrows, which I felt like they should have seen that coming. They should have been prepared with shield walls on the ship because they're easy targets in the river.
Also, they should have literally seen it coming. They weren't that far away. If they were close enough to actually hit the arrows in the boats, they should have seen the people on the shore.
That's true. Rollo yells that it's their last chance to back out of the fight, but they keep going. So, get to this, it looks kind of like just a bay kind of area.
This is a weird place for a fight.
It is a really weird place for a fight. There are two forces. There's the uncle's forces and the brother's forces, which when I first saw this, I hadn't realized that they each had their own kind of armies. Mm-hmm. That was weird. They're too far apart to join together easily because there's no bridge.
It's almost like they've never been in a fight before.
Yeah.
What sort of strategy was this supposed to be? You know what would be great for fighting people? is to split up.
Yeah.
You should definitely not outnumber them. That would be silly. The heck?
And it felt like they had a lot of people, and it seemed like they thought they had so many people that they could split up their forces. Here's what I got from the reactions of the brother and the uncle. I think they thought the Vikings would split the ships and fight both sides at once.
That's exactly what I thought too. Why would they do that, though?
Do they think the Vikings are stupid? Why would they ever split their forces to fight both sides when they can't join together? Why would they ever do that?
It makes
It's like these guys are new.
Which, they're the ones that defeated the last batch of mercenaries, right? The Vikings?
Yeah.
Did they learn nothing from fighting them? I mean, I know they beat them, but even so.
Well, here's the thing. I think that was probably very different because none of those guys were like a leader of the group. I think those guys were just added on to whatever forces were being sent. So they weren't doing strategy. Yeah. It wasn't their battle strategy.
And I also don't think it was a boat to shore sort of situation like it was here.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know why they thought that the Vikings would split up. It's so stupid.
I don't know if... Yeah.
What else could they have thought, though? I mean, that's the only thing that makes any sense.
And the brother was just shocked that they weren't going to his side. And, oh no, I'm too far to do anything. It's nice you just realized that, you dumbass. It doesn't make any sense.
And our arrows won't reach them anymore. Oh my god, how dumb can you be? This guy does not deserve to be king. He's too dumb.
And also, what lovely motivation for all the soldiers as I'm sure they want to fight the Vikings after they are just standing there watching the Vikings kill everyone on the other side so easily. How demoralizing is that? At that point, you're just like, I hope they don't come over here next. I'd like to go home now, please. We didn't see it, but I wonder if the Vikings are like, okay, we're done over here. Let's get back on our ships and go to the other side and kill those guys now.
I wondered that too, if they were planning on going to the other side to fight or if they were going to like rest first. I would think they would want to rest.
Yeah. It's just so stupid.
And it seems like the brother side is just going to be like, all right, we'll wait for you guys whenever you're ready. Come on over and fight. We'll wait our turn, I guess.
The fight was ridiculous. And the uncle, like, they must just not be used to fighting anybody. Maybe because they have such a large territory, they're not used to having to fight because people think that they have big forces, which they do, even if they're not well trained.
Alright, here's the thing, Nikki. I'm not used to fighting in battles either. However, I could see that this was a terrible idea from 100 miles away.
And several hundred years in the future.
I don't really have a brain for strategy, necessarily, but this, to me, I could figure out. So, they're just dumb.
And it's like they haven't heard anything about how fierce the Northmen are, because the uncle looks shocked when his men are just dying.
When they get to him, he never thought that they would have ever reached him.
He doesn't even try to back up or ride away.
He doesn't even move.
He just sits there with his sword out like, am I supposed to do something with this? I don't understand.
Dumbfounded. Has no idea what to do.
And the fact that his face looked like a caricature of a man did not help the situation. I was glad that they killed him so quickly.
I'm assuming that they meant for him to seem ridiculous because
that
had to have been intentional. I hope very much it was intentional.
Yeah, and Floki killed him really fast. There was no hostage situation. Just pulled him down and killed him. He was on a horse. Why didn't he ride away? This just
it's completely insane. How did this guy survive to be this age?
I feel like Kwenthrith could have killed him herself and had no problem because he was so stupid.
I think so too. I'm actually not sure why she didn't just kill him.
So Kwenthrith sees him die and Ragnar sees her react. And it is a major reaction, like more than you would expect.
It really was more than I expected.
So what do you think about that? Why do you think that it seemed like maybe there's more to the story?
I couldn't figure out if it was like a bloodthirsty reaction, like he deserved to die and I'm really, really glad he's dead. Or if it was like a huge relief reaction, like this part's over, I know my brother's a moron. Now my uncle, who was his puppeteer, is dead. Now I'm going to be able to get what I want and what I think I deserve. I don't know if it was relief, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell. It was kind of a crazed sort of face.
If you think that there was more to it, what do you think it could have been?
Well, if it's between those two, I hope it is relief.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't like the idea of her being bloodthirsty. I don't like that at all. But the way they've set up this character, it also wouldn't...
She's already thirsty.
But the way they've set her up already, it wouldn't be a surprise to me if that's what it was.
Okay.
I just hope it's not.
Yeah.
I hope there's more to her. Like we said before. I'd like to see a little bit more depth.
Maybe we'll get the chance next week when we talk about Season 3, Episode 2, called The Wanderer. What do you think about that title?
I can't think of any character that would be a wanderer.
Do you think we could get somebody new?
I suppose, but it would be weird to have a new character and then have an episode named after them. I mean, I'm not saying it's unheard of. I'm just saying it'd be kind of weird. Of course, I immediately think Floki, because he seems like the most wanderific of them all.
Wanderific?
Yeah. The one most prone to wander. The thing about the word wander is that it means you probably have no destination in mind.
Not all who wander are lost.
That's true.
That's
I think
Tolkien.
most people that wander aren't lost. But I think none of them have a destination in mind. That's what the definition of wandering is, right?
That's me in a mall, just wandering around. No idea where I'm going.
But I can't think of any of our characters that don't have a point in mind, you know? I don't know, maybe somebody's going on like a spirit hike or something.
Oh my god, now I want to figure out spirit animals for everybody.
I know what Borgs would be. I cannot think of a character that I could assign the Wanderer to. I just don't know.
All right, Rosanna, you ready for your top 3?
I am. Are you ready for my top 3?
I'm so ready.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
These are the top 3 interesting things that happened between Season 2 and Season 3. So things that we can infer that they happened because we didn't actually see them happen because it was between the seasons. Did I over-explain that?
You woman-splained that very well.
The first one is that Lagertha has been proposed to several times.
Yeah.
People, totally want to marry her. Reasonably. It's not surprising. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's also interesting that she hasn't accepted any of them. I mean,
Why do you
I'm
think
glad
that
she
is?
hasn't, because I don't think she needs a man. I mean, I think it would be nice for her to have one, but I think the people that are proposing to her are only doing that because they want her territory.
Well, I mean, she's already got baby cow, so
It's true.
who needs more?
Dumb little baby cow. So I thought that was interesting, though, that she brought it up that she'd been proposed to and that she hadn't accepted any of them. The second interesting thing that happened between seasons is Bjorn and Thorin knocked up. So that's a progression of the relationship. I'm assuming they lived together. I don't know if they got married.
She also got her Shield Maiden Hunger Games haircut.
Yes, she did.
The shaved side. Just like Marjorie Tyrell.
Yeah. I like Marjorie Tyrell. I'm sad about her situation. I stopped partway, because spoilers, so...
Uh-huh. Yes, subtle. What is the actress's name? That's what I can't remember. I know it. Natalie Dormer. Yes, who was, listeners, if you haven't seen Hunger Games, she was in Hunger Games, and she had the shaved half side of her head thing going on.
I liked her character in Hunger Games. I mean, I like that actress. I like her in pretty much everything I've seen her in.
I really liked her in Elementary.
Yeah, I like her in Elementary, too. I'm kind of marathoning Elementary currently, so...
Also, she's super hot. She always has that weird look on her face,
and she
too.
has this, great voice. She's just nice to listen to.
She should do audiobooks.
Totally. Nice segue to my number 3.
Oh.
Ragnar cut off his hair.
He did.
His full ponytail braid situation. Now he just has hair on top and then all those super cool tattoos around his head.
Yeah. He has more tattoos and less hair every time we see him.
Yeah, I'm guessing at some point he's just going to completely shave his head.
Ah.
It'll just all be tattooed.
Nice.
I guess. I don't know. And I guess on the show, we're not going to talk about why he cut his hair.
We are not. we just get new haircuts.
So it goes back to the time when we started talking about hair in the very beginning of watching the show. You know, what does it mean? Does it mean anything? You know, we did the whole Khal Drogo, and in some places, you know, they cut their hair off if they lose a battle. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they get the haircut and they lose the bells.
So it doesn't seem like the hair has any significance, though, here. Which, I mean, I guess some people just have long hair and then cut it, but it just seems like such a big change for him. His whole look is different.
Yeah, he had a lot of hair.
Maybe he just decided, maybe it's something about becoming a king.
Or maybe he was famous enough at that point to be able to write into his contract that he didn't have to get extensions for filming.
All right, well, that's really taken me out of the story, Nikki.
Well, he started making movies around that point.
I'm sure it has a lot to do with the actor, but it would have been nice if there was something about it in the story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just like, nice haircut, Ragnar, you know, when he's walking down the street. Just some mention of it.
Well, it's weird because they don't talk about haircuts at all, but they also don't talk about tattoos, and people get more tattoos as the story continues. You know, he gets more on his head, and we see them on other people, and so that is never talked about.
I guess we're just supposed to assume it's just a part of life that isn't noteworthy, I suppose.
Yeah.
Anyway, those were the 3 things that I found to be interesting things that happened between the seasons.
Nice. So let's move on to predictions. Now that you've seen the first episode of season 3, what do you think the big items are that are going to happen?
I think we're going to see the farming of the land in Wessex.
Okay.
And maybe we'll get some new characters that way. The people from Kattegat that are farming the land, maybe they'll become more prominent characters.
Okay.
I'm not sure how long I expect Lagertha to stay with them. I mean, it sort of seems like maybe she'd stay till the first harvest just based on what the seer said and how I'm interpreting that. But I have a feeling that even if she decides to stay there for a while, she'll still travel back and forth during the time. I think because there's something's going to have to happen with baby cow. It's just going to have to. And I don't know if she's going to be away long enough for it to get very much steam. I think it's dangerous to betray Lagertha.
Huh.
Yeah.
What do you think about Lagertha and Ecbert? Their adorable juvenile flirtation.
I don't hate it.
Oh, okay.
I think it's kind of cute.
I thought you were going to really hate it, but...
I don't hate it. I don't really have a set feeling about Ecbert right now.
Okay.
He's sort of still in the middle for me. I don't like that he slept with Kwenthrith.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen a wife, right?
Right. I think we can assume she's dead.
Okay. So that makes me feel a little bit better about the Kwenthrith thing. I still found it distasteful, as we discussed previously. But it's less distasteful if he's a widower. I'm okay with the flirting. Neither one is attached to anyone. I don't think Ragnar will like it. At all.
I would love to see Ragnar say something to Lagertha about that.
Yeah.
She would tear his head off.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But as we know, Ragnar is not super good at reading the women around him.
No.
I'm interested to see where that goes. I'd be okay if it went somewhere. As long as he doesn't act like a huge jerk to her. As long as he's respectful. Which, who knows with kings, you know? I mean, I know I'm throwing them all into a basket. If there are any kings listening, I'm sorry. You guys tend to be jerks, so... I am very worried for Thorin. I'm concerned about her in her delicate state and being a warrior, and Bjorn being very, very, very concerned about her. It just seems like they're setting it up for her to die or lose the baby. Or... And I also keep thinking about this whole prophecy about him marrying the daughter of a king. I just seems like this relationship can't be permanent if that's a prophecy for him. That's a conflict. Those two things are in conflict.
Maybe we'll find out she's like Horik's byblow or something. And
well, that would be many points against her, I'm sorry to say.
Well, She hasn't shown herself to be a very good manipulator either. So.
That's true. She's also not good at it. Yeah. I don't want her to get like, red weddinged or anything. But
God.
I'm a little concerned about her for Bjorn's sake. I don't really care about her that much.
Yeah.
But I do care about Bjorn.
All right, so who else? What's the deal with Judith and Applestand?
So the thing with her kissing his hand that I thought was really weird is that wasn't like a unexplained stigmata miracle.
Yeah.
Which a kiss on that might kind of make sense for a true believer. Mm-hmm. But it was actually just men that nailed nails into his hand. So I'm not sure why you're kissing it. It's a little weird. If you hadn't pointed out it was a different actress, I never would have noticed.
They look very similar, don't they?
Yeah.
But the new Judith already has said, like, triple the number of words that last Judith got.
I did notice that she got to talk a lot more. And it seems like she cares about Aethel Werewolf. It seems like she does. So even though it was an arranged marriage, it seems like it's okay. It's working okay. I mean, I don't think she's, like, going to be unfaithful with Applestand. I don't think that's where that's going.
So what about Ragnar and all the fighting Vikings in Kwenthrith? What's going to happen with the Mercia takeover?
I think they have to go after the brother and the brother's army now.
I'm assuming that won't take long because he's going to make more stupid military decisions.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's going to be much of a fight. He's real dumb.
Yeah.
So it seems like if that is the case, Kwenthrith will be able to take over her father's throne. I mean, that's the whole point of the fighting. So it seems like she's going to get her way, which would make her a queen. So she, like Lagertha, would be in high demand as a bride. But whoever marries her is going to have to be pretty chill about some of her activities.
She needs someone who is a consort, not a king.
Yes, she does. She does.
Or she gets the power.
Yes, she needs a consort.
Anything for the people in Kattegat? We've got Aslog, the boys, Siggy, and Helga. And I guess the people left in Hedeby as well. Baby Cow and Einar.
I think Baby Cow and Einar are just gonna, like, plot or whatever. I'm not gonna waste a bunch of thought on them, really, at this point.
That's some great predicting.
Thank you. They're gonna plot.
Or whatever.
Or whatever. I think that Aslog needs to do something. I don't know what she needs to do.
Get a hobby? Besides
yes.
birthing children?
She does need a hobby, yeah. I guess something's gonna happen with Ivar.
Oh, okay. Like what?
Well, I mean, he's going to age and grow. I think something needs to happen for Aslog, or she's gonna lose her mind. I think taking care of a disabled child is really, really weighing on her, especially knowing that Ragnar didn't really want to keep him, even though he says he loves him, and I believe that that's true. Mm-hmm. It's still kind of a rocky start.
And she can't seem to comfort him either. He's always upset.
I think he's probably in pain, which is horrible.
Yeah.
And also to not have the reassurance from Ragnar before he leaves that he loves her. I don't think he ever did, which is sad.
Yeah, and it's not just that she doesn't get the reassurance. It's pretty much she gets the confirmation that he doesn't love her, which is probably what she's worried about all these years. And just never actually got such a clear answer as she did this time.
Yeah. And he should have said something. He shouldn't have just let the silence stretch on uncomfortably.
Yeah.
I care a lot about you. You mean a lot to me. I love you as a friend. Something. Something. But no. Just total silence. Something needs to happen for her, or she's gonna... I don't know if she's gonna, like, go into a deep depression. Maybe she's the wanderer. Maybe she has to go on a walkabout to, like, get her head straight.
She's gonna be in Lost.
Yeah.
She'll be the one with the wheelchair.
Don't tell me what I can't do. I'm hoping that she has more visions of
yes.
future events or current events, but from far away.
As a wanderer. Maybe she's a wanderer in time.
Ooh.
She's a time lord.
She's traveling. in the TARDIS.
She's the new doctor.
Ooh, she'd be a good doctor. She's so tall and, like, stately.
Does the doctor need to be tall and stately?
Well, no, but it helps.
She's probably as tall as Matt Smith, really.
I bet she is. She's really tall. And I feel like she could probably put a watermelon in her mouth.
She does have a very wide mouth.
She really does have a very, very...
It works for her, though.
It does. I'm not saying it's not
yes.
attractive. She's very attractive, but she has a huge mouth. Also, side note, super excited about the announcement for Doctor Who. The 13th Doctor is going to be a woman.
Yes.
So cool.
That is really great.
I'm very excited about that because I was not a big Peter Capaldi fan. I actually didn't even watch this last season of Doctor Who because I could never understand what he was saying. His accent was just, it was too much. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know. I just want David Tennant back. That's all I want in life is David Tennant to be the Doctor again. But having a woman this time, I'm excited to see where they go with that.
Yeah, that'll be good. Now it's time for Cheek of the Week, where we talk about something awesome that we love and want to share with you. This week, Rosanna is doing her cheek. What is it, Rosanna?
This week, it's going to be a joint cheek.
Yes.
Yes! Because we're going to talk about something that we both love. This past weekend was season 7 premiere of Game of Thrones.
Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage. Dinklage, Peter Dinklage.
Okay, my husband actually sang that during the opening this weekend when we watched it.
Listeners, if you don't know what I'm talking about, somebody just took the theme to Game of Thrones and said Peter Dinklage for the whole thing. And it's a video, and it's just the only video. It's a little figurine of Peter Dinklage as Tyrion just spinning in a circle as it continues. And it's fantastic.
Yeah, we'll have to put the link to that in the show notes because it's hilarious.
I saw an interview where somebody showed that video
oh my God.
to Peter Dinklage. And he was like, I guess
he didn't get it. He didn't think it was
have
funny.
A lot of time on their hands.
Oh my God.
He was very confused.
It's so funny.
It is. It's hilarious.
So we got our Tyrion back, who we all love so much.
Yes.
Sansa was killing it. Jon Snow was killing it. Lady Mormont.
Yes, I want Lyanna Mormont to be in everything. Somebody put up a theory on Twitter about how she should be the one who gets the Iron Throne, and I would definitely back that.
Yeah, if she was the one with the dragons, she would have been on the Iron Throne like 3 seasons ago.
When she was 7.
Yeah. I mean, like, how can you even describe how amazing she is? She's so cool.
Yeah, I have a feeling that once the show is done, she's going to be all over the place.
Yeah, I think so. And I just love that she's like, so want me to just knit while this is happening?
Yeah.
No. We're training all the boys and all the girls. This is what's happening. Oh, I loved her. She was so great. It was a really good opening episode for the season, I thought. What'd you think?
Yeah, I really liked it. And listeners, if you're confused, we record these shows a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks before we put them out. So you're probably already a few weeks into the show, and I am so jealous of you right now.
I'm jealous of my future self.
I am jealous of my future self. Because I've been waiting so long for this episode to come on.
It's been more than a year, right?
Yeah. The episode finished, and I thought, that's so great! And I thought, now I have to wait another week to see what happens next.
Yeah.
In a world where we've all become binge watchers of everything, thank you, Netflix.
It's so hard to wait a whole week. Yeah, I really liked the first episode. I thought it was great. I thought that the giants as White Walkers were terrifying.
Yeah.
How scary were they?
Yeah, they were super creepy. When they first showed up, and I was like, oh my God, those are giants. I thought all the giants were dead, and I guess I was right.
Yes.
All the giants are dead.
Yeah, I kind of got, like, goosebumps when I saw them coming out.
Yeah, with the blue eyes and everything.
That is really scary.
And Arya showed back up. Arya is my girl.
Okay, so I love Arya, too, even though she's, like, a tiny serial killer. It's a little disturbing.
It is.
The whole Sam cycle of the soup and...
Oh my God.
Okay, it was so...
The soup and the poop?
Yes, it was so bad and so gross.
It was.
And I definitely could have done with a much, much shorter montage of that.
Yeah, they could have cut that in half, and that would have been still too much, but I could have lived with it.
Yeah, Jeff was actually gagging.
Oh,
because it was
just like Sam.
Yes, it was so gross. It was excessive, I think. That is our cheek this week because we both love Game of Thrones, we love Song of Ice and Fire, and it was super exciting to have the show come back on. I'm sad that we won't have very many episodes, but we will definitely enjoy the ones that we get.
It should be pretty long, too. Some of the episodes, I'm not sure if this season, but next season, maybe up to 2 hours.
Cool.
Because they'll have a shorter season next year, too.
I've heard that. We'll take what we can get, right?
Till the next book comes out in 10 years, maybe.
Nah, I don't think so.
Am I being optimistic?
I believe you are. All right, listeners, you can visit our website to find all of our cheeks of the week. You can learn about our other podcasts, including the podcasts that we're putting out on movies. You can also send us questions and feedback on the website and find out ways to support the show. Our website is somethingcheekypodcast.com.
That's our episode. Please leave us a review on iTunes. It really helps other people find our show. And follow us on Twitter at SomeCheek, Facebook.com/SomeCheek, and Instagram now at Something Cheeky Podcast. To listen to our other podcasts about popular books, TV shows, and movies, all you have to do is search for Something Cheeky in your favorite podcasting app or find them on our website. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Dig-a-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.